What's up, guys? This is Nate24 the Great, back with a brand new video. In today's video, I will be talking about Chapter 3 and how it gets way too much hate and how underrated it is. Many people regard Chapter 3 as the end of, the good Fortnite. Many people regard, Chapter 2 as the last good chapter. And I am here to prove why Chapter 3 should really get more credit for what it has done. So when Chapter 3 first released, Chapter 3 Season 1, it was, of course, a whole new map, brand new weapon pool, and other items. We had Spider-Man in the Battle Pass, and I just remember that, like when that season first released, Chapter 3 Season 1, it was just such a fun time to be playing Fortnite. You had the Spider-Man gloves. The map at that time was really good. It still had like that cartoon-ish aesthetic that many people like about Fortnite, but it was still very refined, to say the least. And we had a ton of new POIs, Condo Canyon, Sleepy Sound, Logjam Lumberyard, Rocky Reels, The Sanctuary, just the Daily Bugle was on the map, just a ton of new POIs. And as I mentioned, we had Spider-Man in the Battle Pass. The Battle Pass in Chapter 3 Season 1 overall, it was not terrible. It wasn't one of the best battle passes we've ever had, but at the same time, it wasn't terrible. There were plenty of skins that I really liked personally. The Foundation I really enjoyed. Spider-Man, like I said, is cool to have him in the battle pass. And yeah, there were some other outfits as well that were okay. They weren't too bad. And another cool feature that came with this map is that it started almost, completely covered in snow. Not like 100% covered in snow, but most of the map was covered in snow, because when it first released, it was, around Christmas time. And then, the snow slowly started melting and, revealed more of the island. And it revealed, like when the map first dropped, Tilted Towers was completely frozen over. Like you could not get to it. And then as it thawed, we got Tilted Towers back, which is really cool. Had to build up that reveal. And then we had a heavy the 7 presence on the island, which was good for, the storyline and the lore aspects. And then, like I said, this was around Christmas, so we had Winterfest. Winterfest 2021 started December 16th and then ran until January 6th, 2022. And this was a good Winterfest event, honestly. And we had, the Winterfest cabin back, several new rewards like we're accustomed to. We had two new free skins, just like what you can expect from a good Winterfest event. Like, this is what you would expect. And then after that, we had Chapter 3, I apologize, Season 2. And this was the, the war season, the IO versus the 7. The storyline this season was peak. This was the peak of the Fortnite storyline, or at least Donald Mustard's version of the Fortnite storyline. And this was, like I said, this was peak lore. This season was really good for the Fortnite storyline enjoyers. And, even if you didn't care about the storyline too much, you could still enjoy the season because there was a ton of new content. We had a ton of new POIs. We had, the map was, I don't want to say constantly changing, but there was a lot of changes on the map. Admittedly, the Battle Pass was not my favorite. It was nice to get more members of the 7 in the Battle Pass, but admittedly, overall, it was not one of my favorites. But like I said, the map was constantly changing. Well, not constantly, but, it was changing a lot. We had over the course of the season, a very progressive storyline as the Seven started to, you know, take back the island and slowly push back the IO. It was just such a good season. Then we had the tanks, we had the armored battle buses. Just the whole war theme was incredible to me, and that's just my opinion. I know that some people may not have been too interested in that theme, but I think that, you know, the war theme in general combined with the, you know, the storyline was so good at that point that it was just peak. This season, really good. And it came right off of Chapter 3 Season 1, which was an incredible season launch. And then after this, we had the, we had the Collider event, of course. I almost forgot about that. Let me see here. So the Collider event we had at the end of Chapter 2, Season 2. And that was a pretty good event, honestly. I consider that as the last good event that we've had. Because since then, we've had Fracture and we've had the Big Bang. But, I mean, should we really even count those? Because those were not good. The Collision event, I regard as one of the last good live events that we've had. This live event was, I think everyone can agree that this live event was really good, and that this live event, you know, this was one of the best live events that we've had, and I think that pretty much everyone can agree upon that. And then after the live event, we had downtime, and then we had Chapter 3, Season 3, Vibin'. Now, this season is very controversial. A lot of people hate on this season, and I disagree. I think that this season was and the reason behind this season is this was Donald Mustard's last season with Fortnite. So he said it himself, this was like a celebration, quote unquote celebration season for him to, you know, celebrate you know, Fortnite so far and celebrate him, you know, leaving Fortnite. Admittedly, the storyline this season was not too crazy because at this point, you know, we already had the peak storyline in Chapter 3 Season 2 because, you know, Donald Mustard had to shorten it up real quick and finish it off before he left. But overall this season, the vibes were really good. Get it? Vibin'? Get that? But yeah. It was overall, like, the aesthetic and design on the map was really good. It was super vibrant, super colorful. You know, we had a ton of new locations. We had, you know, the Rave Cave, Reality Falls, Logjam Lotus, you know, just a ton of different locations that were either affected by, you know, the reality tree and that whole new biome that we got. Because we did get a whole new biome, and then you know, just across the map, some parts of the map were taken over by, like, you know, the spray paint and, like, just the overall, like, vibin', like, design. And then as the map, you know, as the season went on, the trees, like the saplings, started, like, popping up at different locations, and this wasn't anything too crazy, I guess, but it did provide, you know, some changes, some map changes. And actually, now that I'm looking at the map, these map changes, in regards to the map changes we get nowadays, these map changes were huge, because we did get the Indiana Jones, like, POI this season, and we had the boat, I think it was actually called Lazy Lagoon. I think it was called Lazy Lagoon, even though they already had a location called Lazy Lagoon in Season 8. But either way, we had the whole, like, pirate ship in the volcano. But yeah, there were actually some pretty big map changes this season that were, like, named to locations, not just some small, tiny changes, but there were some pretty big changes this season to the map. And then, you know, we got the Charge SMG, which is controversial. A lot of people hated that. Even though I liked Vibin, I did not like the Charge SMG. But I think that overall, this season gets too much hate. The reality saplings was a cool new mechanic where you could like grow the fruit and then harvest it after like a certain amount of time to get loot. That was a cool new mechanic. The battle pass was not too bad. We had Darth Vader, Indiana Jones, Snap, which is a really good skin. Overall, it wasn't terrible. In my opinion, it's probably better than Chapter 3 Season 2, just by a little bit. But I didn't think this battle pass was bad at all. And I don't understand why people hate on it so much when, you know, I thought it was good. And we did get a summer event during this season, which was, it was okay. It definitely could have been done better, but it wasn't too bad. We had the No Sweat Summer. That was the No Sweat Summer event. I should rephrase that. But yeah, it wasn't a terrible summer event, but at the same time, like I said, there could have been some things that were better done. And then, you know, we had the 2-shot shotgun, which was also not great. The hammer assault rifle, which was okay. We got Ballers unvaulted, and we got the let's see, we got the grapple glove, we got Darth Vader's lightsaber, the Ripsaw launcher, firework flare gun, the prime shotgun. So the weapons this season overall were not great, but at least we had new weapons. You know what I mean? Like throughout the season, they actually provided like meaningful updates throughout the season, as opposed to like keeping it the same the entire season. They actually slowly updated and added things throughout the season, which is huge. We got the Kamehameha this season, in the Nimbus Cloud. They first released in this season. And yeah, I don't get why it's so hated. And then after Chapter 3 Season 3, we had Chapter 3 Season 4. Woo-hoo. Paradise. I'm not a huge fan of this season. This was the Chrome season, and the weapons honestly weren't terrible. We had the Evo Chrome AR and the shotgun, the tac shotgun. I thought the weapons were really good. I actually liked both of those weapons. The battle pass was okay at best. It was meh, very mid, in my opinion at least. And I was just not a huge fan of like the whole Chrome theme as well as the storyline this season. And then this season ended with the Fracture event. And I don't even want to get into that because the Fracture event was so bad that like I don't like, there's nothing to say besides it was bad. We had like a cutscene, a very short cutscene, and then we were playing interactive mini games for like 40 minutes straight, if I remember correctly. And I thought that in theory, it's cool for the players to be able to interact with the event, which is why the mini games were kind of good in theory. But the fact that basically the entire island got chromed in a like 30-second cutscene is inexcusable. I think that it should have been handled better so that, you know, the player could be more involved in the event besides just, oh, all of a sudden, you know, that map's gone. Here's some mini games to play until we, you know, bring in the next map. I think that in theory, the event could have been good, but the execution was not there. It did not turn out well. However, I do not think that this should hinder the entire chapter, because like I said, I hear a lot of people say that, you know, chapter 2 was the last good chapter. And I think that, you know, as I explained in this video, a lot of chapter 3 was good. I personally don't like chapter 3 season 4 that much, but overall I think chapter 3 was really good, and that, you know, it shouldn't get as much hate as it does. So that's just my opinion. You know, you can have whatever opinion you want. You know, if you disagree with me and you say, you know, chapter 3 was horrible, I didn't like it at all, that's perfectly fine. We're both entitled to, you know, our own opinions. This is just my opinion that I decided to share in this video. So yeah, thank you for watching today's video. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.